Hi, welcome to Laura's View and Tarot 2. I am so glad you're here. Today's date is Thursday, June 4th, 2026. There's buzz online that you may be hearing about something called the flesh-eating screwworm. Let's talk a little bit about what that is, what it isn't, and then see what the tarot wants us to know about this situation. First of all, the screwworm, the flesh-eating screwworm, is the larval and maggot stage of the screwworm fly. When they lay their eggs, those eggs subsist on living tissue. So the flies look to lay those eggs into open wounds, eyes, orifices, etc., of livestock mainly. There can be instances, and there was one last year, where someone came back from Central America with a case of the screwworm infestation themselves. How was that treated? I don't know, but I do know that a grok search I did when I asked if traditional dewormers, including ivermectin and fenbendazole, could be used against one of those infestations, they actually didn't shy away from the topic, said yes, lots of disclaimers, but apparently there can be effective treatment using ivermectin, especially with this problem. In the 1960s, the screwworm fly was eradicated from the US by dispersal of sterile flies. So the plants that did that were slowly decommissioned. And there's one in Central America right now that is fully operational. It's down in Panama. It's a joint Panama and US venture. There's one in Mexico that is gearing up again to do that sterile fly dispersal, which is the most effective non-chemical way to treat the northward march of this fly. And then in the United States, there is a plant that has been done in Texas. It's going to be fully operational in later this year, but it's already up and running on Moore Air Base. And kudos to the Corps of Engineers that really got that plant up and running in record time. And to the Trump administration for paving the way to have that done without getting it lost in years of regulations. The screwworm fly, the adult, has a little mobility that the larva doesn't, not just by wings, but because it has a wider diet. So it's the larval and the maggot stages of the screwworm fly's life cycle that are so damaging and need to be addressed seriously. Now, before it becomes a fear porn topic and we're worried about letting our children play outside in warm weather, our pets outside, etc., let's see what the universe wants us to know about this issue. It's serious. It is. Because of this issue, there's been a ban on importing beef from Mexico for over a year now, and that will probably continue. However, there's something called cattle laundering that has been going on. It was a new term for me when I started looking at this topic. I wasn't aware of it, but I shouldn't be surprised at it. You won't be either. Let's take a look at what cattle um, laundering is. And yes, this is one of the means by bringing unhealthy cattle northward with false documentation. Boom, they've slowly worked their way north. So I'm going to take you to a share screen, take a look at this. The graphic is not mine. I'll give credit where credit is due, and let's go see that graphic first. Okay, this graphic comes from Inside Crime Investigations. It's actually back from 2022. It talks about, it explains cattle laundering. There's cattle collection points near the Mexico-Guatemala border. They obtain ear tags through corrupt officials or via third parties who report an excess number of cattle, and then they sell those tags. So, Central Americans, cattle with no ear tags, health documents, or transit permits are smuggled across the border and brought to collection points. Personnel at collection points sell ear tags to traffickers for almost 10 times their legal price. These ear tags register the cattle with approved production units. The traffickers obtain or falsify sanitary certificates and travel permits through corrupt officials, and boom, ranchers buy these cattle that now appear to have originated in Mexico and are healthy and can then sacrifice them or sell them to meat companies. So they seem to be healthy. Whether those ranchers are buying them knowing that they've got falsified information or not, I'm not even going to ask the tarot about that because I'm sure there's some that do and some that don't. Let's ask the tarot what we should know and what should be of interest to us about this flesh-eating screwworm because, as I said, it's now back in the United States, and it's going to take a couple years before the production facilities are fully running to deal with it. Although currently there is one, like I said, they are the Panama facility apparently is releasing 100 million flies a week, male flies. I had a little thing of thinking of little vasectomies going on, but anyway, those sterile flies are being released in, so there it is being combated. The facility on Moore Air Base is operational, just not fully operational, and the Mexico facility is being upgraded as quickly as possible, thanks to some help from the United States. So there's 3 points where there will be safe sterile fly dispersals to deal with this. In the interim, what does the universe want us to know? Let's find out. Okay, we would like to know what we need to be aware of about the flesh-eating screwworm. We are told that because of the efforts to keep it out of the US, that's one of the reasons our beef prices are so extraordinarily high. Um, we know that there is a containment and eradication effort that is effective, but is going to take a little time to be fully operational. And we know that one of the culprits of the spread has been the cattle laundering that has happened. So just are there other things we should be aware of, things we should know, and any additional insights and information that would help us understand the situation, uh, be aware of it, not lose sleep over it, or succumb to any fear porn? Let's find out. Okay, we have the Knight of Swords, Page of Swords, Nine of Pentacles, the Hermit, Queen of Wands, Knight of Wands, and the Nine of Swords. So here's what the universe has to tell us so far. First of all, yeah, the efforts to eradicate are going to be effective. They're already in play, as I said, just not as extensive as they will be by this time next year. And the the eradication efforts are going to be successful. In the meantime, we've got the Hermit just kind of to shine a light on the situation. Um, I think what we're being told is there's no big worry about it. I worry more that there's going to be those who capitalize on this to again increase and beef prices and shortages of same. The recent past, again, we've got the Nine of Pentacles, which says, yeah, the efforts to do this are going to work. No problem. They were effective in the past. They will be again. Let's look at the near future. We got the Queen of Wands. So she's going to objectively, the situation will be dealt with. There is, again, we're getting a military element to this, and I think that's mostly because of the facility that is on Moore Air Base. So that's why, and then a reassuring card that there's not as much to worry about as they're going to try to convince you there is in the media. I'm going to get two more cards to see what else we need to know. Successful eradication is indicated with the Six of Wands. And then the Three of Pentacles talks about firm foundations. In other words, the readiness on the part of the Trump administration to deal with this head on without a lot of excessive delays and regulations and hoops to follow through is going to really help have the successful eradication program. It's a shame that it has to happen again. We got rid of it in the 60s, yet here we are, but it will be done. Let's recap. You're going to see headlines that talk about the flesh-eating screwworm. It does exist. It was previously eradicated from the United States in the 1960s. The flesh-eating screwworm is the larva or maggots from the screwworm fly, and they eat an exclusive diet of living tissue. So the flies attempt to lay their eggs in open wounds or orifices, etc., predominantly in livestock, although they can cross over into family pets. Even there was one case last year that a human was treated for it. It can be treated. And interestingly enough, one of those treatments that seems to work for it includes ivermectin. I got that from Grok, so I think I can say that word fully without just hinting about it. So the if you hear about it, you'll know what it is. You'll know it was eradicated in the past. According to the universe, what they wanted us to know, first of all, I didn't see any nefarious elements to the cards that were pulled when we asked about what should we know about the situation. So I don't think we have a case of insects that have been genetically modified to be more damaging and dangerous than the original variety was. It's just simply that the eradication process that was done in North America wasn't done in South America, and the flies slowly moved back north and is here in the United States. The confirmed case in Texas is about 120 miles north of the border. So the what the universe wanted us to know, though, I think the main thing was there's not as much to worry about as maybe you're going to hear as this very exciting buzzword of flesh-eating screwworm gets into the news. It's one of the reasons I used flies on my thumbnail instead of, that little maggot that's making all the getting all the photo ops. And the eradication process is going to be successful. It's already going. It's just not up to full speed yet. There is a plant in Panama that is fully operational. There's one in the United States and on Moore Air Force Base or Moore Base in Texas that is up and running, but not at full speed yet. And then there's one that's being rehabbed in Mexico that will also address the situation. So it's going to be successful. Again, that's the main thing we had. It's going to be successful getting rid of it, and there's not as much to worry about as the mainstream would have you know. So that's what the universe wanted us to know. It is real. The confirmed case in Texas was genuine. Doesn't seem to be artificially manipulated. Now, that doesn't mean it won't be capitalized upon to yet again increase beef prices in the US and talk about shortages. But we'll see how that rolls out. But again, I don't think we're dealing with a nefariously modified insect. It's just one that because their range extended because they were able to. So we're going to reduce that range again and get them out of the US. It'll take a little bit, but we'll do it. That's it for this video. I thank you so much for your time, your attention. If you didn't notice, I have a short announcement up on my channel that my news review and Tarot 2 that usually drops on Monday. Next week will drop on Tuesday just because of some conflicts of schedule that Lady D and I have. So we will still do our collaboration. It'll just be a day later than usual. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate each and every one of you more than I could ever express. And until next time, if you're willing to receive it, I send you love, light, and I wish you everything bright. Bye.